What's going on, everybody? KingofDragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified Series Lady Jaye. And so here we have the G.I. Joe Classified Lady Jaye posing out of the packaging. Before we take a look at the figure, let's actually run through her accessories really fast. Lady Jaye does come with two alternate hair pieces. We do get the hair piece that she has on her right now. She does not have her cap on. And then we do get a hairpiece where her cap is on. She also does come with two spears, which look really nice. I do like that. And they do peg onto her backpack, and those spears do go onto her spear gun, which is a really nice little accessory. I do like that. The spears do come with three different heads. We do get two spear heads, and then we get a second spearhead that looks like a bomb of some kind. She of course does come with a knife, which fits in either of her hands really nicely, or if you don't want her holding the knife, it does store into her side holster. Other than that, Lady Jaye doesn't come with anything else. I think she comes with just enough. There's some things I like and some things I don't like about this figure. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually move on to her details. And so here we have a closer look at Lady Jaye, and I really do like this sculpt on her. I do feel like the sculpt is a little bit too harsh when it comes to her cheekbones. She has really defined cheekbones, and the paint really does bring it out. It does give her a much older appearance, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's just something that I have been pointing out, that her cheeks are very well defined. They're pretty high up, and the paint that they gave her really do bring those out, and it does, like I said, give her a much older appearance. One thing to note is that on mine, the lips aren't quite where they're supposed to be. It does appear like they got printed a little bit to the left, which that's a little bit unfortunate, but it's not a big deal. It's not like Brandy Rhodes where it was completely shifted off to the side, but I do like the way she looks. One thing I'm not a fan of is the way Hasbro did her hat and hair. The way you're supposed to do it is you interchange the hair piece and give her her hat. Now, it's a nice little feature, and I get why they did it. It saves on plastic, but to be quite honest, I would have much rather just preferred two different head sculpts, one with the hat and one with the hair. That way you don't have to worry about moving it around, because once you move her around a little bit and start messing with it, you will find that you do pop the hair piece off quite a bit, and that's one thing I'm not a fan of. And you can see it doesn't quite sit right. If you glue it down and hold it down, it might sit better, but yeah, it doesn't look right in some angles. You can see some of the hair is starting to poke up, and there's really not much you can do about that. I really would have preferred two different head sculpts from Hasbro. Other than that, I still think it's a really nice little thing. If this wasn't so soft, it would work even better. Her hair pieces are quite soft, so that's another reason why it doesn't work. So moving on to the figure itself, Hasbro has done a really good job with Lady Jaye here. You can see they did add a strap going around her back, and her backpack does peg onto her back right here. There's two holes, one on the strap, one on her back, and you just gotta line those up and then peg her backpack in. So I really do like that. And if you don't want this, you can take it off if you really want to. And she does have some detailing underneath that. You can see she does have that same metal that we saw on Duke, and we have some straps going over her shoulder. Really do like that design. It's a really interesting design. She does have a zipper right here that they did paint the silver part of the zipper, but they didn't paint the actual zipper part, which is a little bit odd. A lot of the buckles on her aren't even painted. You can see right here on her belt, these clips, they're not painted, they're just molded in brown. The clips right here on her little pouch are also not painted, so yeah, she is lacking some paint, especially in areas like that. But I really do like her outfit here. It's done in this really nice green, and then they did add some texturing right here, and they painted that. That's one thing I love, is when we have two different textures on a suit and then they paint the more intricate texture. So that's really nice, and I do like the pipelining that's going around her. She of course does have her patch right here, which that is actually done very nicely. You can see her sleeve does clip on right there, which looks really nice. And then she does have bare arms, and one thing I do like, she has double jointed elbows. Really happy to finally see double jointed elbows on a female G.I. Joe figure. Thankfully, this is something that I hope Hasbro is moving forward with. If we do get another Baroness with the gold paint apps, I hope they implement this, because this actually works wonders. Her belt piece here is a very floaty piece, so there's nothing really holding it, and it's very loose. She does have her Joe Pro right here, which looks really nice. It does continue that gunmetal and blue motif that we've seen on the other Joes. And then she does have her belt painted right here. So yeah, it's really good detail. And then we move on to her pants, where it looks like she's wearing a jumpsuit. It's not a shirt, and then the pants are separate. This actually looks like one complete jumpsuit because all the panel linings and pipelines do line up perfectly. And then we do have that same texturing that we saw on her shirt right here, along with some pouches right there. Going on to her knee pads, which unfortunately her knee pads aren't painted. All the other Joes have had painted knee pads so far. Lady Jaye unfortunately does not get that same treatment, but we do have a little bit of paint underneath those knee pads. I wonder why she didn't get any paint apps. Even black knee pads to match with her shin armor right here would have been good. And speaking of shin armor, she is wearing black boots. And something odd is that I noticed that this is a pinless figure, but you can actually see the pins right here in her boot. I don't know why you can see the pins on her boot, but you can see them. Other than that, she is a very pinless figure, so don't know why Hasbro did that, but they did. It's not a huge problem, but it is something to note. It does look like design on the boot, so it's not that jarring to the eye. The laces on her boots look really nice, and I do like the fact that they did give a little bit of texturing at the bottom. They didn't texture the bottom entirely, but right here you can see they at least gave the look of texturing, so that's pretty good. So overall, Lady Jaye here is a very nicely sculpted figure, and even though I'm not a fan of how they did this hairpiece, it still works for what it is. I might end up buying the second one and glue the hair down and have two separate heads, because that's more ideal for me. But if you like this little intricate way they did it, that's perfectly fine. Like I said, I'm not a fan of it, but if you are, that's perfectly fine as well. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get it posed and compared to other figures you may have in your collection. And so here we have Lady Jaye posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have Lady Jaye posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. Here we have Lady Jaye posed next to a Lightning Collection White Ranger and a Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. And finally, here we do have Lady Jaye posed next to a G.I. Joe Classified Flint and Cobra Commander. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually move on to her articulation. Now, Lady Jaye does sport the new articulation for female figures. At least I hope it's new moving forward for G.I. Joe figures. She does have a ball hinge at the neck, which she can look up about that far. She can look down about that far, which is really impressive, and that's all just on that ball hinge. On the ball joint itself, she can move up and down fairly well. We do get some nice head tilt, but again, moving it around, you do end up popping the hair off, and there's really no way to really grab it without doing it. Don't know why Hasbro would do this, but hopefully we get alternate heads rather than alternate head pieces. She does have a ball joint at the neck that connects to the torso, which does help with articulation, at least going down. Going up, not so much. She does have a butterfly joint in the shoulder, which goes forward and back. We have a hinge that goes out to the side, no problem. Goes all the way around. We finally do get a bicep swivel on a female figure, so I do like that. Double bend at the elbow, giving us some serious range right there. And then we do have a swivel and hinge at the wrist, and that hinge is up and down for melee weapons, so I do like that. She does have a ball joint here at the torso, which does lean back quite a bit. I am impressed by that. But moving forward, not so much. Hasbro needs to not pull a McFarlane and give us better forward movement on that joint. And she can tilt the sides a little bit, and that does rotate a bit. We have another ball joint here at the bottom of her waist, which does lean back about that far. Leans forward, not the best, so they did what McFarlane does with the ball joints. Unfortunately, we do get some really nice pivot on Lady Jaye right here, and then we do have rotation right there. Lady Jaye also does have those drop down ball joints, which do go out to the side about right there. Now, the way they sculpted her crotch piece, unfortunately, it does push her leg outward rather than vertically, and that is something to be aware of, but it does move forward and back. out to the side. Very nice, I do like that. We do have rotation here at the thigh, double bend at the knee, giving us quite a bit of range, although I think I can get a little more out of it if I move that joint first. Yes, if you move the bottom joint and then the top joint, you get a little more range, so I do like that. We do have rotation at the boot, hinge in the ankle going back and forward. Doesn't go too forward, unfortunately, because of the way the armor is sculpted, but she does have a swivel here giving us for rocker ankle. So overall, really do like the articulation on Lady Jaye. So what we're going to do now is get her posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have Lady Jaye posed for my final thoughts, and overall Hasbro has done a good job with Lady Jaye here. There are some things I'm not a fan of, especially the fact that we do get two separate hair pieces instead of two separate heads. I really would like to see separate heads on figures. Not that that's a bad idea to give us separate hair pieces, but it's a better idea than execution, especially on Hasbro's part, because they did make the hair so soft. Moving it around, it doesn't sit right, and you might accidentally pop it off more times than not. So yeah, give us alternate heads, don't give us alternate hair pieces. Overall, a little bit of paint would have gone a long way with this figure, just to paint some of the parts such as the clips on her belt and the zipper. That would have brought this figure so much more detail, and unfortunately Hasbro didn't paint it. But what we got here is still a very impressive figure. The fact that she does have weapon storage for everything except the alternate hairpiece is a very nice feature, so I do like that. Her backpack does a really good job of storing accessories, as well as having that little camera at the back. So overall, Lady Jaye here has a really nice presence to the shelf. And one thing I absolutely love about this figure is the articulation. Hasbro really stepped up their game with Lady Jaye, and I want to see them do that with female figures moving forward. Not just in G.I. Joe, but also in Marvel Legends. So hopefully we do get that down the line. Now, if you are looking for Lady Jaye here, she appears to be one of the easiest G.I. Joe figures to find in stores. I've seen about 10 of them sitting at my local Target and about 12 of them at Walmart. So Lady Jaye here isn't that hard to find, although it does pain me to say this. She's actually very good, and the fact that she's warming pegs is a bit of a travesty, because I really do like the way Lady Jaye came out. Next to Baroness, I think she's my favorite G.I. Joe female figure, not just because of the articulation, but the detail and the accessories she comes with. They are really fun. So if you are on the fence about Lady Jaye, definitely pick her up. Pick up two, because what I'm going to end up doing is gluing the hair pieces down and having alternate heads. If you want to just keep yours vanilla, you can do that. There's no shame in that, but me personally, I'm not a fan of the interchangeable hair. With that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and check out all my other action figure reviews, as well as all my other G.I. Joe classified videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it's in my collection, I'll gladly have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.